Hey Monad devs, this is Marcus, DevRel at Edge and Node. Let's go ahead and do a little update. So a few weeks ago, there was a bug in the Monad Explorer that essentially the ABI that was brought in to the Explorer had a small error in it, and that allowed the subgraph that was trying to index this smart contract on Monad testnet to essentially not operate effectively without some manual changes. And that bug has been fixed. So yay to the Monad team. Thank you so much for fixing that. So let's go ahead and go through this workflow of how it's a little bit better in terms of developing on Monad and indexing a Monad smart contract. So first things first, you're going to want to find a smart contract on Monad. I just found a smart contract here. This is wrapped monad, and here's the contract address, and the contract is verified. It needs to be verified for easier indexing. Essentially, plugging the subgraph into the smart contract is now possible because it's verified. So we can do that. Let's go ahead and build the subgraph. So first things first, you'll go to thegraph.com. And in case you don't know, the graph is indexing and querying millions of smart contracts out there every single day. And so Monad testnet is another one of those that it can index. So what we're going to do is create a subgraph. Subgraph is basically an API, Monad demo live. And this is the Subgraph Studio where we can develop and iterate a subgraph. And from there, just have it be extended, learn subgraph development, learn how to do it in a private environment, rate limited environment. And then from there, when we're ready to publish this API to the network and become open data, we can go ahead and do that there. We don't have to do that for testing. We can just keep it in this environment, of which we're going to do right now. So select a network. And so we're going to look for Monad, and it is a test net. So you have to scroll to the bottom here. And here, Monad. There we are. And from there, let's go ahead. If you haven't installed the Graph CLI, go ahead and do so. And if you haven't initialized before, this is how you do it. So we'll go to the terminal and let's see, desktop, and then projects, and make dir Monad testing live, cd Monad testing live, clear, oh, clear, and then make it bigger for y'all, and then graph init. All right, so we'll type in monad, and that's one of the chains that the graph indexes. And we'll do a smart contract, subgraph slug. It's automatically populated from the copy paste in here, and then contract address. This is where we need the contract address that was grabbed through here. And we will drop that in application. And sometimes the Explorer itself does not return data that the CLI needs. You see 404 not found. That's okay. We just need to go to the Explorer itself and get this information. We're going to need the ABI. We're going to need the start block. Ideally, the start block, if we have it from whenever the smart contract was deployed, and then also needing the contract name. Those are the three things we're going to gather. And we can keep on trying if we want, but it's 404ing. That's okay. And so we'll say, no, we don't have that. We'll say, no, don't need to retry, and then no. We'll manually go ahead and gather these things. So we're in this repo here. As you can see, we're trying to fill in the ABI file here. Let's go ahead and code this. We'll just open up this empty folder, and we'll make a new thing called ABI.json in our cursor right there. And then we have a contract, and then we'll just basically, all we need to do is copy paste this into the ABI.json. All right, that's all we need to do. And then we have this in our repo. And then so we'll copy this path and we'll drop it into the terminal that it needs right there, ABI file. Boom, start block. We're not going to start all the way at start block 0 because that's essentially start block of the genesis block of the entire chain. We don't need that far back. So let's just go ahead and say, uh, what is the block here? We're not see this. What's the actual current block? 8 million fast blockchain. So we'll go there. 8502. We'll do 8402. So 8402000. Okay. Contract name. Ideally, we would name it the same contract name as the smart contract's name itself. Like I said, if the Explorer endpoint would return, that'd be great. But it's not right now. That's okay. We can just call it wrap monad. Index contract events and entities, true. And now it's going to be spinning this up. So We'll let this go all the way through. My coffee. Right. And do we want to add another contract? We can if we want. We could have many different smart contracts indexed by the same subgraph. And we could, I'll have it be on Monad. We're not going to do that. And let's go ahead and go through all of this. I've already authenticated my own local computer. You're going to have to do that yourself. But we'll just cd into the into the folder here, and then yarn deploy to actually get this thing running. Version 0.0.1, and it's compiling, uploading, and deploying to graph node, and then done. So that was much easier than going into the ABI before and editing those little files. From there, we should see right now that typically it takes around 1 to 5 minutes for the first entities to actually show up right here, just because it's spinning up and the entities, essentially entities are things inside the database. And so they need time to populate. But right now we can already see, just because I only went back, a few hundred, just 100,000 blocks, I believe, it's already almost fully indexed. So I'm going to close that video right now and say, hey, go ahead and get indexing on Monad, and go ahead and use that Monad Explorer as best you can to have a good development experience on Monad. Use the graph, use subgraphs, and go ahead and build some cool stuff on Monad. Take care.